Hyatt announced their 2024 hotel shuffle, airlines are increasing checked bag fees, and Delta might be ending one of their guarantees. This and more in today's roundup. Big favor before you dive in is to give us a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. That way people that need to see this can see this, and if you are new, then consider subscribing. Starting off, let's look at some changes with Hyatt hotels for 2024. This is something that happens pretty much every year, and the main reason for it is economics. These hotels are not usually owned by the brands themselves, but are actually independently owned. When using points, Hyatt pays the hotel for the room. If the hotel is empty, then the cost is pretty much what servicing is. If it's a lot busier, they do pay the market rate, the idea being that they would have sold it anyways. So given this, Hyatt is happy for you to use points if the hotel is emptier. Simplifying it even more, if it's a popular hotel, then point prices tend to go up, and if it's not popular, then they go down. With that said, 183 hotels are shuffling categories for 2024. 137 are going up to higher categories, and 46 are going down to lower ones. Put another way, about 75% are increasing, and 25% are decreasing. Definitely not ideal by any measure, but not the end of the world. The big question is whether it affects hotels that you want to go to. Looking at the regions they have and starting with the US, 86 hotels changed, 65 went up, 21 went down, and the biggest move is plus or minus 1. Net change here though was plus 44, and the net change per hotel is about 0.5. Some of the bigger moves are going to be ski resorts, and it makes sense given that a lot of points people do like to ski and snowboard. And probably the fact that more people are making content on this. For example, Vail Residences of Cascade Village moved from Category 7 to Category 8, probably because Hyatt doesn't want to pay the retail price, which might run from $1,500 to $1,700. Another one that moved from Category 7 to 8 is the Hyatt Centric Park City. This one surprised me because when we visited, it felt pretty mediocre, pretty mid. There is still value during ski season given the nature of it, but it's not the most impressive hotel by any means. Side note, Mandy did do a full video on her channel if you want to check that out after this one. Let's take a look at some of the other regions. For Africa and Middle East, there's 8 changes, 7 went up and 1 went down. Net change here is plus 6 and about 0.86 per hotel. Asia and Pacific are the most interesting. You have 44 changes, 24 went up, and 20 went down. Net change is plus 6 and about plus 0.14 per hotel. Interestingly, Japan mostly went down. Lots of Category 3s that became 2s and 4s that became 3s. Canada, the Caribbean, and Latin America are a bloodbath. You have 18 changes, 17 up, and only 1 down, and we have the biggest move here of plus 2. Net change is plus 17 and plus 0.94 per hotel. The big mover was Secrets Tulum, which went from B to D. So going from 20k to standard room to 30k. There is one that moved here, but it's still on my list. That's going to be the Andaz Costa Rica that moved from 6 to 7. 25k to 30k points for a standard room, but it's still a good deal. The main reason for this is because it's a pretty expensive hotel that normally runs about $1,500 to $1,600 per night. 1,500 divided by 30,000 points is 5 cents per point, and even if you use peak pricing, 1,500 divided by 35,000 points is still 4.3 cents per point. It's still a bad change, but you're getting value about 3 times more than using the Chase Sapphire Reserve travel portal, and almost 4 or 5 times as much as using cash. Europe also didn't look that great, 75 changes, 24 up, 3 down, plus 21 is the net change. Even if something does become a Category 8, the most expensive, there can be a lot of value. One of the best examples is going to be the Park Hyatt Niseko, which is Category 8, 35k for off-peak, 40k for standard, and 45k for peak. We were there for end of January and beginning of February, which I consider the absolute peak of their ski season. Happy to use 45k points if the retail price of a room is $1,500. That's more than 3 cents per point for a great property and great experience. To me, the point of points is to make memories and enjoy experiences that you might be able to afford, but you might be too thrifty to pay for out of pocket. Side note, it might make sense to check out my review or Mandy's review of this after this video to see if it's worth adding on your bucket list. Availability opens up about 4 to 6 months beforehand, so we did most of our ski bookings for the season around September. If you are looking to add more Hyatt points, the best return on spend is probably, surprisingly, not the Chase World of Hyatt card right now, but other Chase cards. I would probably get the Chase Sapphire Preferred and 1 or 2 Ink cards. For example, the Chase Ink Cash is no annual fee, $750 for $6,000 in spend in the first 3 months. $750 is 75,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points, which can be transferred over to Hyatt. You do need a Chase Sapphire Preferred, Sapphire Reserve, or Chase Ink Preferred for this, but we'll be adding one of those. And yes, you are earning points. The cashback here is marketing, and anyone else who has gotten the card will happily tell you this. Chase Ink Unlimited has the same offer if you want to add an additional 75,000 points. Chase Sapphire Preferred is a $95 annual fee card, 60k points after 4,000 in spend in the first 3 months, and it opens up the door for transfers. Even though it is an annual fee card, there is a downgrade path in the second year if it doesn't make sense, and you also get hotel credit that helps ease the blow. Let's say you get the CSP and the Ink Cash, that's 135k points. 135k is 135k Hyatt, and divided by 45,000 points is 3 nights at the Park Hyatt Niseko or any other Category 8 Hyatt during the peak season. And this is just the intro bonus component and not including the points that you earn from doing any spend. If you include the minimum points you get from the MSR minimum spend requirement and also the Ink Unlimited, then you're getting a total of 226,000 points divided by 45,000 points is 5 nights. That's 5 nights you can hang out with Freddy. Main takeaway, price increases are not the best, but it's also not the end of the world. Of all the hotel programs, I'd argue that Hyatt is still the best value. On that note, if you do want to learn about Chase cards or cards from pretty much any other issuer and you want to support the channel, we do have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive and that you can use the points in the way that you'd want to, but otherwise it is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you guys in advance. Moving into the lightning round, if you have a Delta card, make sure to use the rideshare and Resi credits. You also do need to log in and enroll in the benefit, otherwise it's not going to work. For rideshare, just add it to your Uber account and take a ride, or order a pickup meal or delivery meal for Uber Eats. For Resi, look at the list of restaurants and go to something that's on there. Worst case, go to their happy hour. Last thing I'd want is for a bunch of people to leave $10 or $20 on the table per card. If you're looking to do some traveling in the next few months, then Southwest does have their spring sale. You do need to book by tomorrow, February 29th, 2024, and use code SPLASH for up to 30% off. If you're going for Southwest Companion Pass, then the Chase Southwest personal cards all have Companion Pass and 30,000 points after 4,000 in spend in the first 3 months. You still do have a bit of time for the offer, and it ends March 11th, 2024. Companion Pass is good until February 28th, 2025, so about a year. It means that every time you fly, your player 2 or someone else you designate flies for free when you're flying Southwest. All 3 personal cards have the same offer, and you can kind of pick and choose there based off what you're optimizing for. The cheapest option is the Southwest Plus with a $69 annual fee. If you are looking at net value, I would consider the Chase Southwest Priority $149 annual fee, but is a keeper card for a lot of people. Main reason for this is the $75 Southwest travel credit, and you get this annually, and also 7,500 Southwest points, and this is every card member anniversary. At 1.4 cents per point, that's about $105 in value. 180 intangible points and credits for a $149 annual fee, and that's before considering any other perks of the card. We don't talk about it enough, but we do fly Southwest when the price is right. For example, SFO to LA or SFO to Vegas, especially when the other airlines are trying to charge an arm and a leg. Speaking of Vegas, you can now book MGM options through Marriott Bonvoy using your points. It's not all of them yet, it's only some of them, and I would still run the numbers because on weekdays, it probably does not make sense. Vegas is super weird because on weekends, it can be super expensive because a lot of people want to go there. Weekdays, it can be hit or miss. Going from most expensive to least expensive, the signature at MGM Grand is going to start from 20,000 Bonvoy points and about $47, $48 per night in resort fees. MGM Grand starts at 15,000 Bonvoy points, about $51 per night resort fee. New York is starting from 9,000 Bonvoy, and then Excalibur is starting from 5,000 Bonvoy. And yes, that's about $42 per night for resort fees for Excalibur. Value is probably weekends, events, and also conferences. It might also be tougher because people know to look for this now, so be aware. Going back to Hyatt Superfast, if you do have Category 1 to 4 certificates, then there are some hotels you might want to book. There's 19 that are going from Category 4 to Category 5. You'd want to book these by March 26, which is when the change happens. Here's the list if you want to pause it, and a lot of it is US. Ones I would consider booking are going to be Hyatt-centric Waikiki Beach, and also the Andaz Bali. Waikiki Beach is about $250 per night. You effectively paid $95 for the annual fee to get that certificate, and $250 there is $150 in value above the certificate, so pretty good. Andaz Bali is about $300 per night, so you're getting about $200 above the certificate value. I know this video sounds mostly around hotel devaluations, but the bigger concern to me is baggage fees and what airlines are doing. 4 of the 6 airlines raised their baggage fees. Alaska went from $30 to $35 for the first checked bag, so $5 increase. JetBlue went from $35 to $45, which is a pretty big jump of $10. American is a bit more reasonable, $35 to $40, and United just announced $35 to $40. If you are on team checked bag, and especially if you have a family, then now is the time to either get status or get a credit card that comes with checked bags for free. If you are chasing status, we are covering that a lot on the Ask Sebi business channel for Q1. And yes, the spend numbers are pretty obscene. I think for most normal people, you'd either want to pack lighter or grab the lowest annual fee card and call it a day. Main issue is that the airlines charge the fee both ways, so it's 40 times 2, $80, or 45 times 2, $90. Most of the airline starter cards are in that $100 range, so with one trip, you're probably breaking even, and then 2 trips, you're coming out ahead. If you have a player 2 or a family, then you might be winning from just one trip. Or alternatively, stick to Southwest, which is now looking pretty good, with 2 checked bags for free. Another one is Delta, which might be getting rid of a benefit. There's a strong belief in the rumor mill that they're going to be getting rid of the baggage guarantee. Delta gives you 2,500 miles if your luggage doesn't arrive within 20 minutes of your arrival. It feels pretty non-consequential if you're used to it, but it can be pretty annoying if you fly other airlines and when that doesn't happen. For example, when we went to Whistler earlier in the year, our luggage didn't come out until 45 minutes and it felt like an hour. And it wasn't just my skis, it was all the luggage. It's a pointless benefit until you're at the airport waiting to go home because of your luggage. To be fair, this is a rumor for Delta and they haven't commented or confirmed this, but it does seem like it has legs. On the top end, some people have gotten 30,000 miles over a year due to this benefit, and that's a minimum of $300 in value. Some people are blaming social media for this and how people now know about the benefits, but even then, Delta was advertising these before in front of their carousels, so people definitely knew. Ironically, I think people are still so angry over the Delta card changes that they could probably announce this and it's kind of a non-story, when for me at least, I think it's a bigger deal. It's definitely an interesting start to 2024. Not great at all for normal travelers, but not too bad for credit card enthusiasts who want to do the research. Again, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website, asksebi.com, and also down below in the description box. If you made it to this point, leave a luggage emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and also respond. 3 questions. Number 1, what's your experience of Hyatt points, and what's your favorite redemption or property? Number 2, do you think the baggage fees are fair due to inflation or not fair? Also, lastly, what are your thoughts on the Delta 20-minute guarantee? Maybe I'm the one overreacting, but let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favorite, thumbs up, share this with a friend, consider subscribing, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you next time.